Hi guys, welcome back to the Blue Podcast number 15 with me, Tom, and my other host, Ben. How you doing, Ben?
I'm good.
And we've got his dad, Stuart, here to talk about Manchester City. Thank you for all the support lately. We hit 300 subscribers yesterday or 2 days ago. Greatly appreciate all the support lately. And our last 7 videos have hit 100 views, which again is massive. So to the 65% of people who do watch our videos and aren't subscribed to the channel, please do hit the subscription below. We would greatly appreciate it. We upload these Thursday, 4 p.m. Check out our merch. I'm not wearing it currently. Ben, are you wearing it?
That's not good, is it?
That's a good advert.
mine's in the wash, unfortunately.
Our merch, but we wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
And check out at the Blue Podcast 1 on Twitter and message us if you want to come on. All right. Got all that kind of stuff out of the way. How do you guys think this weekend went in terms of expected? Some teams were performing better than we thought maybe they would, like the first game of the season.
I thought Wolves are looking handy.
Yeah, they did look good.
Everton looking handy.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my dad watched the Tottenham documentary, and right at the end of it, it's like, hopefully we start next season better than this season. It just didn't happen.
No.
Good documentary though.
I'm on episode 4, I think.
Right.
I haven't quite finished it yet. But I thought Everton looked really good in their game. Compact, solid, Ancelotti-esque. And they've made 3 midfield signings, which massively helped their team.
Yeah. James Rodriguez looks quality, doesn't he?
Yeah, his pass, I don't think he missed a good pass. It was...
Not something that can be said of Havertz.
Yeah, we can get on to that in a sec. I thought Leeds played really well.
Oh, yeah.
Your City man at left wing scored a phenomenal goal.
Jack Harrison, is it? Yeah.
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 I remember Kieran going on about it, and Brad actually.
Because you're like, he's on loan from City.
Yeah.
He's not playing a game in the first team, but it's like, he's a City guy.
Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, yeah. But yeah, were Leeds unlucky to not get a draw there? Or I think Liverpool were the better side.
I mean, it was a pen, but
yeah,
it's Liverpool, isn't it? But I think they played well enough to get a draw. But like you say, Liverpool probably edged it overall. But yeah, it's one of them ones where it's kind of.
You sort of expect Liverpool to grind out that kind of game at the moment.
Definitely.
They always seem to just about get that goal in the 90th minute. You just know it.
It's like it's all they did last season. Like, they didn't play the best football. Like, City probably played the best football, but they won 1-0s, they won 2-1s.
Yeah.
All the time.
True. Yeah. Taking my jumper off.
Well, obviously City didn't play this weekend, but you've got who next weekend?
Wolves away. Big game. That's difficult.
Yeah. But we'll talk about us beating Brighton 3-1 first.
Yeah.
I thought Brighton were the better team. I thought Lamptey, the person we sold, was the best player on the pitch. But, I mean, Reece James kind of proved, in a sense.
Cracking goal.
Yeah. Why he starts for Chelsea right back over Lamptey.
And Kepa proved why he's buying a goalkeeper.
Yeah. Kepa let the ball go underneath his arm, hence. Yeah.
Havertz pinged it into the advertisement board.
Yeah. There's a lot of positives and a lot of negatives, but I've been told by many a Chelsea fan to wait and let the new boys do their thing. I mean, we had Pulisic and Ziyech injured. Still.
Yeah, they've got a gel. So I was saying last podcast, it depends if they gel straight away or they take time to gel.
Yeah, exactly. So, fair enough. How do you guys think you'll do next weekend against Wolves?
City?
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that one because
Traore.
Strong team, very strong team.
Traore.
Yeah.
Tears us apart. Like, was it last season at home? They won 2-0, and it was just Traore just absolutely destroying our defence.
Ben kept saying we want Traore
Yeah.
to replace Sane because he's such a bulldozer.
He's quality, yeah.
He is good, very good player.
It's not just that he's fast and strong; he's got a good end product.
Yeah,
he can cross it and finish it really well. But obviously, a bit too expensive. I think was it like 135 mil?
Something like that, yeah.
Talking about. So Ferran Torres for 20 mils, not too bad.
It's not terrible, I have to say.
But yeah, if we had a new centre back, I'd be a lot more confident for that match, but we don't. So.
No. Aren't you guys thinking of going for Upamecano now instead of Koulibaly?
I mean, he's a decent centre back. We just need a centre back. But the only thing with him, I guess, he's the commander in the Leipzig team. But he's 21, so he's not got that experience like Koulibaly has, and that's what we need. We need that leader with experience. But I mean, Upamecano can turn into that.
Yeah. So you think it might be a bit too early to sign him?
No, I think if we sign him, it's a fantastic signing. Because we just need a centre back. But
we definitely need a commander at the back because they just seem to be playing for themselves. Well, not playing together; they're just playing individually all the time. There's no
just doesn't
cohesion.
It's yeah. I mean, Upamecano might not be that straight away, but he probably will become that. So it'll probably be a good investment. And also, he's a quality defender anyway. So it'll help. It'll help, even though he's not that yet, sort of thing. But I'd just take any centre back that's half decent at the moment.
Except Phil Jones.
Except Phil Jones. But he's not half decent, is he? I saw a link with what's it, Jose Jimenez from Atletico.
Oh, from Atletico, he'd be good.
Yeah. But like they were saying, oh, they're putting a bid, and then it was like, no, that's all bollocks. Like, yeah. So, but yeah, any half decent centre back, I'd be happy with, basically. Whether that's coming or not, I think they will, but who that is, I don't know. So,
do you think you'd still be? Did you think, back when we were talking at the start when we were talking about how frail City were? Did you think you'd still be talking about needing another centre back at this point? See, your season already started. You're playing next weekend. Do you think that it would still be going on?
I think no. Well, obviously, I would have thought they would have got it wrapped up, but they're probably thinking, "No, Ake can do a job for now, maybe." But if they don't, because they've got until is it October 5th? If they don't get someone by then, it's a crime, basically, because it's been so obvious since last summer what we didn't replace. So if they don't replace it this transfer window, it's like what are they seeing? Like, what are they not seeing? Like, it's because it's so obvious, like the problem area. But
I think the City had set their mind on Koulibaly. They've just been going after him all the time, and Napoli have thought, right, we're just gonna do the one-upmanship and just delay it, try and take it to the wire to just get the best price for him. They should have started looking around for other options earlier.
Yeah.
Really.
It might have got to the point that if they are to get anyone, it will be Koulibaly because they just left it so late to look at anyone else. So they might end up paying that. Because I think that at the moment...
What are you asking for him?
I've been seeing 75 million.
Yeah, something like 80, 75 million,
Yeah. And the first bid was like 65 plus 5 add-ons, and they were like, well, we want 70 plus 5 add-ons. And then apparently City are just not... If it's true, I don't know how true it is. It might just take it with a pinch of salt. But if they're not willing to pay it an extra 5 mil when they're already paying 70, it's like I don't know. But I guess they're playing hardball because of what happened with Jorginho and stuff. So they're like, well, you like we had an agreement with you, but you let him go to Chelsea, so we're gonna be dicks about this move. Like we're gonna move it, and you're gonna take this or nothing. Like, but in the end, it's their player, so they're gonna pay that extra 5 mil, whatever, if that's true. In the end,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Have you got any other transfer rumours still floating about?
We saw that Belotti might be going to Spurs.
Yes.
Mourinho wants a striker.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, it's basically because what happened last year. We saw it in the documentary. If their key players didn't get injured, I know you don't like Spurs, but they could have been getting top 4.
Probably.
Because
they're catching up on us.
At one point, they were like 1 point behind.
Yeah.
And Kane got injured, Son got injured, someone else got injured. I think it was like Sissoko lost, and like people like that, key players, and they had nothing up front.
Well, that was what I've said to some people about Liverpool this season. If they lose Van Dijk, if they lose Salah, if they lose Mane, their team will just not work the same.
But you could say the same about them last season. But
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They can't do it 2 seasons in a row without backup.
But unless they get really lucky again, which they could.
But the odds would be but the odds would be stacked against them.
Yeah, true.
They got to the final Champions League 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
Their luck must be running out.
Yeah, it's interesting, but the way football works, he probably won't get an injury. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's interesting with that documentary as well, because it's kind of Mourinho spent the whole documentary trying to make them more aggressive, basically.
Yeah, I remember.
And me and my dad were talking about him and like saying, it's not because with the one with Pep, he's like dead supportive and stuff with them all the time, and obviously he has to go to them when he needs to. But with Mourinho, he wants that internal conflict to sort of make them demand more of each other and take more responsibility. But when that works, it really works. When it doesn't work, you lose a dressing room like he has in his past 2 clubs. So
maybe he's just waiting to find the team that can do what he wants, and then there'll be.
Yeah.
But maybe football's changed from when he tried it with Chelsea and Porto.
True.
As we've been saying for the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, Tottenham, because they needed that change. That change in sort of management, so to get that sort of what's it called, determination back and that drive, because they just lost it after the Champions League final last year.
Yeah, they did.
They lost that and they were like, well, what do we do now? So that's why they went to pot. So they needed that change to sort of refocus them and like reset.
Reset them,
yeah.
It would be tough having been with a manager for so long and then getting so close to kind of find they are professional footballers, so people will say, so what, they lost a final, they should be still putting 100% in every week. But they are human, and it is difficult.
That's going to be hard and tough mentally.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, they are human.
Yeah, like they are like on ridiculous money, but if you think about it on like the human level, they've been working since they were 10, let's say.
Yeah.
For that moment and lost. So it's kind of like, oh, but you have to go again. But it's difficult when you had the same manager for a long time.
What do you think of that, Stuart?
Well, me and Ben both rate Pochettino. And when Pep goes, we'd love him to take over at City. And watching that Tottenham All or Nothing programme, it wouldn't suit me to be managed in the way that Mourinho is managing, because he encourages the players to fall out and argue with each other. And you saw some serious arguments. There was some on the pitch, weren't there? When
Maurice to Son.
Yeah.
I mean, that cannot help gel the team. You've got to get a team. Yeah, fire them up, but you've got to be working your socks off for each other. So if you're arguing with each other, you're going to think, sod you, I'm not going to run for that ball.
Yeah, well, I think the psychology of it comes into that, because I'm your son, so I'm exactly the same. But they say managers have to be different with different players.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because I know Wayne Rooney used to say he loved having a kick up the arse when he was not playing well.
Yeah.
When Ferguson balled him out, it pepped him up and he went out and did the business. But on an individual, I can't understand why he would be encouraging players to have a go at each other.
Yeah, well, he said when they came in, he was like, well, I really like this, because obviously, a couple of months ago, 1 or 2 months ago,
help. I don't think it helps if you just ball.
Yeah, and he was like, if you take it in the right way, it's good, but for me, it's just...
There you go.
Just pause it.
Yeah, right. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Little break. We were talking about Spurs and how they're managed.
Yeah, for me, it just wouldn't work. I'm the sort of player who, I'm guessing my dad's the same when he was younger, that you just need just a well done.
It's not positive.
Yeah, positive feedback. That's what you want. You don't want, come on,
Yeah, I mean, they could say, you're doing well there and there, but you need to improve on that.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but to just ball people out and get players balling at each other in the change, it's just not going to work for quite a lot of players. I don't think Son wasn't happy, was he?
No.
Because he doesn't like conflict in the changing room. No. But he's an absolutely amazing player.
Oh, he's quality.
Yeah, I think he's Spurs' best, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, better than Kane in terms of quality of play. Obviously,
everything, literally everything apart from putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah. But, for me, if I was balled out, it just turned me off, because I would just be like, well, I don't really want to work for this coach anymore, because he's a dickhead, I wouldn't really want to try. Which happened at Kieran's probably told you about this, that we went to Stockport Georgians during college, and so I was like, oh, Kieran, you want to join? And he was like, yeah. So we went, and the coaches were just dicks, basically. I couldn't stand him, and so I just couldn't be asked trying when I played, because he just wasn't a good coach. And then obviously I ended up leaving, and then so Kieran, I think he played a couple more games, but then so there's other people from our school that joined, and he started benching them and playing the younger players. So, and the players that he was benching were decent players. He was just a bit of a dick, the coach.
So you're relating that to Mourinho?
Yeah, basically. So obviously with other players, him being like that probably might have worked, i.e. Rooney or someone like that. But with me, it's just...
Yeah.
It's a difficult one, because obviously you want to treat the team as a collective, but then you've also got the individuals that you have to treat that way. So
I get the impression that Klopp is one of those that encourages his players all the time.
Yeah.
And doesn't have them shouting at each other. Obviously, I presume behind closed doors he will have a stern word with one or two, but he's not going to be just yelling at people. it's always positive.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'd say the same with Pep.
Hang on.
I'd say the same with Pep.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you going to say? Tom, sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to take this more. Obviously, I didn't grow up playing football, but I grew up playing rugby. Probably, maybe just slightly different personalities with rugby and football in terms of rugby. You get the best out of, well, from my experiences, you get the best out of a player by getting them out, like revving them up, getting them psyched, getting them out there, and probably giving them a hard time. But obviously, I haven't finished the documentary, so I can't really say too much about it. But I'd say with Pep, he kind of does a bit of both. He does get on them quite hard. He can get very hard on them. But then obviously having that soft side like Klopp, it's helpful because you don't know, because not the entire change room will be like enjoy a specific one. Some people might need to kick up the arse. Some people might need being nice to. So that's why I'd say Pep probably is the best manager in the world right now because he probably gets the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I suppose.
Compared to obviously Mourinho, who just wants to, who thinks that getting up someone's arse the whole time is the best option. But
like his attitude is the one that you were saying, like, is good for rugby. That's his attitude all the time. And
it's not healthy.
Obviously, someone else will say something different, but for me personally, and my dad, I guess, it's not for me. Yeah. Are we going into the City part?
I was going to ask Tom there. What did you make of Klopp's criticism of Chelsea spending loads of money? When I think that was totally out of order. All the big teams spend that kind of money.
I saw a stat.
Did you see Lampard's reply?
No.
Basically, he said, so Klopp obviously targeted Chelsea for spending 200 odd million. When Liverpool are the team that, you know, they show that card where it's only the last 4 transfer windows, the biggest spenders, and includes Liverpool 25 million. Fair enough. Last 4 transfer windows, you spent 25 million.
Yeah.
But the 2 transfer windows before that, you spent 270 million.
Yeah.
So
I saw a stat, and it was like Liverpool's team that started and Chelsea's team that started the last game. Liverpool's team was more expensive.
Sure it was.
Like, so it's
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
Chelsea were having to do a bit of a catch-up, weren't they, after the transfer?
Oh, we needed. He's probably worried, Klopp, that teams like Chelsea are spending this money to bridge the gap, because it means he hasn't just got to beat City; he's going to start beating 2 teams a season or 3 teams a season. And he's made he's probably really annoyed at the board for not making any signings yet, apart from a backup left back.
So he wants Thiago, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. He is also a fantastic player.
You don't want to pay, 30 mil for him or something?
Mate, I'd pay 30 mil for him and swap him for Jorginho.
Yeah.
Happy days. I mean, I think Jorginho is not built necessarily for the Premier League. He had a decent game yesterday. But I'd say Thiago is. He looked very physical, very good on the ball when he was playing for Bayern Munich, when I saw him in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Against Chelsea as well, he completely smashed us. So,
yeah, I think it's whenever a manager or like a fan or whatever is like, oh, you're, like, especially the top 6 clubs, you're spending too much money.
Yeah,
it's like it's
just not an argument anymore, is it?
Because every top 6 club spends money.
That's it.
Yeah, and I mean,
we spoke about this with City and Chelsea sort of being villainized.
Yeah,
but like, because it has had more of an effect on City than Chelsea and on City and the other top 6. But that's not to say that the other top 6 hasn't spent money. They've spent ridiculous amounts of money at every team in the top 6. So it's
United broke the transfer budget recently with Pogba, didn't they? At first,
yeah.
Another top 6 team spending money. They want to spend 95 million on Sancho now. and that's another team. Why is Klopp not slating them? They're spending more money on a single player.
If you look at, this isn't saying United spend more than us, but like if you look at the top 10 transfers in the Prem, I think is it like 4 or 5 are United.
It will be.
So I think there's only one that's City, and that's De Bruyne or Rodri or someone like that.
Yeah.
So, and then Chelsea have a couple in, might be Arsenal or something, or Spurs, or
It won't be Spurs. They don't spend money.
maybe Liverpool. Yeah, true. But yeah, it's like there's a few others, but like it's just you just can't say it really.
No.
Fans always come back to, oh, you're buying the title, you're buying this, that.
Yeah.
And it's been levelled by, well, fans all the time, hasn't it? Depending on which team's at the top. So, but United were spending massive amounts of money 20 years ago. They've had success for all that long length of time. Nobody else could afford to pay anything like that. Did they pay 30 million for Ferdinand? And that was ridiculous amount of money.
That was for the time, yeah.
I don't know what pro rata that would be now, but they've been spending that kind of money for years.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're not doing so well, so every other team's buying the title, but it's just not. It's not.
Well, it's spent like 27 million for Rooney, and today that's probably 50 odd million, whatever. You know, it's bonkers money at the time. But
if there was fair, I mean, I don't know whether this financial fair play is going to carry on or not, but if there was financial fair play 20 years ago when United were buying players for that kind of money all the time, they'd have been in trouble every year.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I've got to say this before, with Chelsea, we've actually stayed within financial fair play while signing these players.
Yeah.
So that even though it's obviously slacked this season,
yeah,
where you can go, because obviously we had that ban for dealing with, it's going to sound weird whatever I say.
Youth players.
Youth players, yeah, that's better.
Oh, yeah.
And
what were you saying? What were you going to say?
I shouldn't say it. And so we kind of want to spend the money, but also go, thank you almost for that transfer ban last season, because it's meant we've been able to do home growing, if that makes sense, and then buy loads of decent players, good players this season. Whereas let's say we'd spent money last summer, I probably would have made one big-ish signing to try and replace Hazard. And then and this season we don't even really make one big signing, whereas this season we've been able to make huge marquee signings.
Yeah. I mean,
it's worked in your favour as well that you've had a year to be looking at all these players and watching them and, you know, weighing up exactly who you want to go for. Because normally you've got a window and you have to make a decision pretty quick. But Chelsea have had a long time to be able to sort of look at the whole market, haven't they?
Oh yeah, and also kind of throughout the season evaluate where we really need reinforcements, and we literally have done slotted all the holes pretty much. All we need is a keeper to come through, and then maybe next season another centre back to replace Thiago Silva.
Yeah, that's coming as well, isn't it, the keeper? So
yeah, he's having his medical, I think, next couple of days. So
I guess the same point for that, if financial fair play was a thing back then, like when Abramovich first came in at Chelsea and they spent that money, it wouldn't have been allowed. But it's one of those things. It's like you can't really say stuff in hindsight because it wasn't a thing then. But you know, you can still say it for sort of that. Where if a fan was to say, "Oh, you know,"
the teams have been spending massive amounts for years.
Yeah. If your fan was saying, "You're buying the title," well, it's like, well, back then, same thing. So you know, it's like you just can't really say it anymore because it's obviously you could if you're outside the top six.
Yeah.
In the top six, it's half of one.
Well, but I mean, I think the gap between teams in the top six is shrinking.
Oh yeah.
Sheffield United, Wolves, Everton looking really good.
Yeah.
Like these are teams that could easily push for fifth. And I'm really interested to see how this season goes.
It's going to be really interesting this season. It's going to be quite. Well, I hope it's going to be quite exciting. I hope that there isn't a runaway Liverpool again.
Exactly. You kind of want.
It'd be nice to see 3 or 4 teams having a bit of a battle up there.
Yeah, exactly. You want first to be a battle, fourth to be a battle, fifth to be a battle, and the top and relegation to be a battle. Whereas last season it was just top 4 and relegation.
Yeah. Hopefully City end on top, but
I've already predicted you two, so
I can't see it if we don't get a centre back, unless Ake steps up. But if we don't get a centre back, we're gonna be just as poor defensively as we were last season. So we're gonna lose as many games as we did last season, basically. I think anyway. So.
Well, we've spoken a lot about the current and present. Let's start taking Stuart back kind of in time as we have done before. Let's start off with your earliest memory of Manchester City.
I've got to start racking my brains a bit here because it was a long time ago. Right, so probably late 60s. I was born in 61. So late 60s is the time when both Manchester teams were doing really well.
That was the previous successful period, wasn't it?
It was where both Manchester teams were doing well. So United have got the European Cup in 68 and then City won the title in 69. Then the year after they won the European Cup Winners' Cup or something. They were both really good teams. And at the time, there wasn't so much football on TV. So, you didn't get to see all these teams. You just got to see, I think it was just one match on a Sunday they showed.
Match of the day, yeah.
It was called The Big Match or something like that, and it was black and white. That was when United had the Bobby Charlton, George Best, Dennis Law, these Brian Kidd, all these brilliant players. And George Best was unbelievable. And City had Colin Bell, Francis Lee, Mark Summerby, Neil Young. So they were both doing really well. And I think the thing that swung it for me, I just really liked Colin Bell. A midfield sort of maestro. That's the sort of player I always look at. It's not usually the strikers. I like a player that plays midfield and controls it with. He had a lot of flair, and it wasn't common then. It was more, the Leeds Uniteds and the Chelseas. It was brute force. Norman Hunter and Ron Harris were just, they were mean. Yeah. So Colin Bell was so good. He was like the De Bruyne at the time.
Well, he's like before this successful period, like him along with Mike Summerby, Francis Lee and people, Colin Bell is like the City legend, isn't he?
Yeah.
Number 8 on the back of the shirt and stuff. People are, this is the one thing that hurts, I think, when people say, I think it's either like you've got no fans or you're plastic fans. It's like me and my dad, we're from Manchester, been supporting City since we were young. It's like we're proper fans. It's not like we're just thought, City started winning the title, we'll support them. Because I was started supporting before 2008.
Yeah, that was a bit bad because we obviously had a long period of very, very dire times in the 3rd division. What was it called? Was it 1st division? But it was Premiership, Championship, 1st division.
Something like that, yeah.
That was unbelievable for us to drop so low.
Yeah.
Why was it that you did drop so low?
Just lost
I don't know. There was something not right. We just kept changing manager, try something else. Spent quite a bit of money. They were buying players for £1 million. I think City were the first club to spend £1 million on a player. And we just bought badly, and we're desperately trying to keep up. And I think the wheels just came off, and nobody knew exactly what to do. So it just it was sad. It was sad. To fall so low, and United having all that success was like, oh my god, this is really bad.
But yeah, the other thing that hurts is when people are like, oh, you've got no history. It's like, yeah, fair enough, we've not got as much history, but there is history there.
There's tons of history. It's just not as much success.
Yeah.
We at the time, I suppose, in the sort of 70s, 80s, when we came up against Man United, it was a case of, let's hope that we don't get stuffed. If we get a draw, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
If we win, it was just unheard of. Whenever we played them, you just expected to get beat. Anything better than a 3-0 or 4-0 defeat was a success for us then.
Yeah.
It's
that 60s and 70s. Sorry, Karen, Dad. Sorry. That 60s and 70s was around the time that was that famous 5-1 win and stuff, wasn't it?
It was the odd time when just for some fluke we just seemed to score every shot we had.
Right.
And
is that not in these successful periods?
I think we probably had 1 or 2 games where we managed to just win them, and
right, okay.
Just couldn't believe it,
Yeah.
But obviously, recently, I mean, I think when it started to turn around, and when I thought, actually, we might be able to start doing something here, was when Ericsson.
Sven
Goran was appointed manager, because I really liked him as England manager.
Yeah.
And we started to do well. I think the first season, did he just 9 games or something, and it was like...
Yeah, well, that was the season before the takeover, and it ended sour with him because we got smashed 8-1 by Middlesbrough.
Yeah, we did.
But the first half of that season, he showed, because I've not really, it's after 2008 really, but I guess the first half of that season, he showed that we were able to play good football because we were in the top half of the table quite often. And then Hughes came in, who was kind of just an average manager. And they signed loads of players, but Hughes wasn't the right manager or good enough manager to be able to get the best out of them. And then they brought Mancini in, and it clicked.
Yeah.
Clicked very well.
I'm not sure who was manager when Elano came to City.
Sven. Yeah, Sven.
Was that Sven?
Yeah. Was that first quality player?
A fantastic midfield maestro, and I was just like, I just love watching him play.
Yeah.
Distributing it out.
That cracking free kick where he kind of just arrowed it into the top left.
Yeah. You could see the seeds of something happening there, and then obviously you've got to have the investment. You've got to be able to spend money to get the quality together. And
yeah, well, I guess he was because Mike Richards was saying when they signed David Silva, that was like the first player he saw, and he was like, "We're getting quality in here."
Yeah.
But I guess you could say that there was sort of a precursor to that was Elano.
Yeah.
But I mean, even though we were like down in the 3rd division or whatever, or 2nd division, we still had some quality players during that time. Like, was it King Clancy and Sean Gota and stuff?
Unbelievable, King Clancy.
Yeah.
What player?
Georgian, was he? Georgie King Clancy, but he was from Georgia, wasn't he?
I can't remember. Something like that, yeah.
He was from Georgia, yeah.
Yeah, the quality there was so good.
Yeah. He was like the beam of light in like the darker times, wasn't he?
Expect any player like that to stay for long at City, though.
Yeah.
We just didn't have them sort of superstars. Well, he was super.
Oh, I think Ben's frozen. He's back.
Oh,
He's back.
right, there you go.
No, I'm back. Yeah.
All right. What was your first game? Do you remember?
Well, Ben was just asking me about this. I never went to see City in the great years of Colin Bell and all the rest of it. And I never saw them until about 15 years ago, the first time I went. I think it was a midweek match. It was something like Aston Villa midweek. A mate of mine at work who had a season ticket just said, I can't go tonight. Do you fancy going? And I'd never been. I know it sounds a bit strange, armchair supporter. So I said, yeah, I'll go. And it was the City of Manchester Stadium then. And I went, it was the third tier, walked in, and it's just like, I can't believe this stadium. You know, it was fantastic. I mean, I think I did go to Main Road once, but it was for an England under-21 match when I was probably about 12 or 13 years old. And that was quite amazing. The atmosphere was fantastic.
I can imagine.
But first time seeing City was probably a midweek Aston Villa game. But yeah, the atmosphere is City can be brilliant, but it can also be very frustrating. City fans will not start cheering until they start winning.
Yeah.
They all sit there and go, right, do something, you know, and it's so frustrating. They don't get behind the team.
But you can have like you say,
other teams, they cheer them on from the kickoff.
Yeah.
At City have a bit of a sing at the start, and then it's quiet until they score.
Yeah.
And then they'll start supporting them, and it's just frustrating.
Yeah. Like like you say, I guess that was one of the criticisms when they did move to the Etihad, that the atmosphere wasn't as good.
Yeah.
But that always happens when you move to a new stadium. But obviously, it's got better recently. But like you say, it takes the until they score, they don't start cheering. But there is games where the atmosphere is fantastic. Yeah. Like the one we went to City v Everton League Cup semi-final, second leg. Yeah. We were 2-1 down in aggregate, 1-3-1. Fantastic atmosphere.
Yeah.
De Bruyne got injured, which messed up our season, but it was fantastic. And then I remember watching PSG Champions League quarter-final second leg. It was 0-0 in aggregate. We won 1-0. I was on TV and the camera was shaking. The atmosphere looked fantastic. But they don't do it every game. They only do it for like top Champions League. It
was against Hamburg, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was when we were in Europa League. When it started to turn around.
I've never heard it so loud.
I
was like, what's going on here? Because City fans don't do that, but they can.
Yeah. I think at that time it was a shock that we were actually in Europe. Because I think it was Hughes' first season.
Right.
They got into Europa League through, was it, Fair Play. The Football Fair Play or whatever. But they got to the quarters. Did we win 2-1, but we lost 4-3 in aggregate or something?
Yeah. I think, was that when, I forgot his name now. He got sent off, didn't he? What's he called?
What position?
Balotelli.
No. That was before. It was before. Right. You're thinking about it was 2012 when we won the title. We were in the Champions League and we came third, so we dropped into the Europa League.
All right.
And we won 3-2 against Sporting in the second leg, but we went out on aggregate. But Balotelli got sent off in that match.
Yeah.
But that was an annoying match because we just couldn't finish. But yeah. As you like, but we go like you're saying. I didn't go until I didn't know this actually until now. We didn't go until 15 years ago, but we go quite regularly now. Obviously, we can't now, but we go like 2-3 times a year for Champions League.
We get a FA Cup, couple of FA Cup matches in, some Champions League, a couple of league matches if it's not too expensive, because it's bloody expensive.
Yeah, fair enough.
You can't say it's not, but when I was little, it was never a question of actually going to watch a football game. It just didn't happen. I don't know any of my friends who used to go regularly to watch football, to be honest.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lucky your team was on the one game that was shown on a Sunday.
Would there be match of the day still?
No, it wasn't on that.
Yeah. They used to show one match, didn't they?
Well, I was wondering if they might show the highlights. When did match of the day start?
Oh, I'm not sure. 90s? 80s?
I don't know, actually.
I don't know.
Yeah, there was certainly not the coverage you get today.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, they're currently trying to make every match in October on the TV for English football, I think, which is crazy. But well, we literally kind of just touched on it. Actually, I was going to ask you, what was your favourite ever game to go to and also to have watched, even if it was on the TV?
Oh, God, that's a question, isn't it?
So I tell you when Match of the Day started.
1964.
22nd of August, 1964.
Right. I've just got the same page up as you.
Yeah.
So he must have just shown one match.
I think there was a program called The Big Match as well, but I think Match Day was different.
That's the one I used to watch on a Sunday. And it just popped up what you got. It was like, this is the match, and you were like, hey, brilliant. You didn't even, know what the game was going to be, and usually like Sheffield United 0, Everton 0. Gerald Sinster, and watched the whole game, and it was a boring, drab thing, because you probably have seen some of the games from years ago. The pitches were dreadful. They were like some of the time, and it was just like hoofing the ball up a cowfield.
Watching, hoping for a 5-goal thriller, and it's
the pitches were dreadful then.
Well, bring it back to your favourite game.
Favourite game. Let me have a think.
I know mine.
Yeah, you go then, because I can't think of anything.
City v Everton semi-final.
Right.
We were 2-0 down in aggregate, and we went 1-0 down. And
they scored very early on, didn't they? And we were like, sorry now.
we were like, we never leave games early, but we were like, we might have to go with this one. But then we turned it around straight away, and we're like, all right, cool. Can you remember that?
Yeah, that one's a good one.
That one.
Like I say, we just we don't expect to come back once we go behind. So it was exciting. It was certainly exciting to actually.
I know you say
get our way back into it.
Yeah, I know you say you like the Hamburg match because of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But I remember now, that was the match where it was like, they just wanted to get people in. So there was like £5 for adults and £1 for kids.
Yeah, because it was me, you, and Mark and Natalie came as well.
Yeah.
And we were in the corner. And the atmosphere, I was so shocked.
Yeah.
Mark and Natalie don't come to games, but they came to that one, and it was a fantastic atmosphere.
Yeah.
They were like made up, weren't they?
Yeah, I remember being absolutely fuming after that match because I was like, well, because you were like, but we won. And I was like, but we won and lost an aggregate. I was fuming.
Take the positives.
I was like, but we lost an aggregate. Come on.
Yeah.
I guess you'll have more memories of when you took me to matches.
Yeah.
So like blow the whistle and that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So there was a match that we went to, City v Birmingham. It was before, was it Oh,
Yeah.
what match was? What season was it? Was it Hughes in charge?
Was it what?
Was Hughes in charge? No, it was before then. But anyway, I think it was. I think was it Stuart Pearce or Ericsson or someone like. I think it was Ericsson, and we were playing Birmingham, and we were winning 1-0. And 90th minute, I get over and I'm like, blow the whistle, ref! Because I was desperate for us to win. It was like just a Premier League game against Birmingham or something. Scream at top of my voice. I'm at the top. I'm in the third tier, as if the referee can hear me.
Yeah.
I'm bawling my guts out. We eventually won, but
How old were you then?
so if it about 7 or 8,
Yeah.
maybe 9. So, but yeah.
Oh.
He was so stressed.
I was so stressed out. I was like, we've got to win this game.
I can understand that though. It does get stressful.
Yeah. I remember my first game as well was City v Aston Villa. You probably remember that. We went with Mark and Nat again. We lost 2-0.
Oh, right.
And we're in the third tier, but yeah, it was a bit of a miffing first game. But I wasn't really into
When you're
football.
saying third tier, you mean third tier of the stand,
Yeah.
not third tier of the
Not
leagues.
Oh,
there anymore.
Yeah. No. We were in the Prem at that point. So it's turning into the history of Ben's City, this, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's
Well, no,
probably
it's-
synonymous with mine, really.
Yeah. Well, it's like with my dad when we had him on. Like there was obviously the bits that he spoke about, but there was obviously a lot of things that me and him have experienced. So
Yeah.
I understand. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'm trying to think now. Yeah.
Villa.
Villa. Yeah, we lost. It was rubbish.
Should have
But,
got a list of games we've been to, shouldn't we?
yeah. Oh, yeah, because we got the history of what games we've been to. Yeah. But didn't we go to one? I can't remember if we went to one before it or after it. It was with Mark's then girlfriend's family.
Oh, yeah. Southampton.
Yeah, 1-3-1 against Southampton, but we were sat behind the goal and it was rubbish. I can't remember if that was before or after. But yeah, interesting times.
Yeah. Well, Stuart, have you managed to think about your favourite game yet?
Out of those,
Out of those,
Or just anything you want?
I can't. There's nothing that stands out particularly.
They're all that good.
But well, they all tend to sort of are similar in the end, aren't they? When you
yeah.
I've not been to a thrash somebody 9-0 or something, but you do remember outstanding performances.
Well, I mean, that basically leads me on to something else I had noted down was who are your 5 favourite City players of all time?
You've got some already, so Colin Bell is probably the first one that really appealed to me. King Clancy was superb, and Ilano was fantastic. Obviously, De Bruyne now, and they all seem to be midfielders, aren't they?
What about David Silva?
I suppose, yeah, I'm going to have to put him in because unbelievable. But they're all midfielders, midfield maestros, and that's the sort of football I love. If they get the ball and distribute it, and it's not all about just the goal scorers. When they can pick a ball up and ping it across the field right to the foot of another player, that's fantastic. And then they always contribute as well with goals. Colin Bell scored quite a lot of goals for City. So, yeah, that's probably about it. Is that 5?
That's 5, yes.
What about for your favourite game? What about our favourite memory? I remember you talking to me about City v QPR, because I was playing for Reddish Vulcans at the time. We had a presentation. We were listening to it on the radio.
Oh, bloody hell, yeah.
Yeah.
You're throwing it back now, Ben.
You mean the last game of the season? The last game of the season?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's got to be, yeah. Favourite game?
Yeah.
2-1 down against QPR.
Yeah. Because I
Head in hands thinking, what the hell we're going to say to all these United fans that are going to be gloating.
at 2-1, I went to bed. I was like, no.
And we got back from your presentation.
Mm.
The match was still going. It was 2-1, 90 minutes were up, and I'm thinking...
Typical City.
The amount of gloating from the United fans is going to be unbearable. And I'd sort of written it off, and the next minute I hear all this cheering, and I'm thinking, what's going on here?
I'm thinking United have just secured it or something.
And I couldn't believe it. How can they score 2?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And when you re-watch the Aguero's goal, I mean, obviously, I forgot his name now, the header. Dzeko's header got us back into it, but you just still thought, that's made it worse. You know, we've lost by nothing. And then for Aguero to score, I mean, you can probably live on that one moment alone forever with the United City sort of rivalry, because that was such a moment.
Just play him that clip.
So, would you say that was your standout goal for Man City? Your favourite goal as well? Maybe that Aguero one.
I mean, it's a bit like when in Brazil when they score goals and the commentators go absolutely ballistic and mad, and it was the same for that, because it just for the whole season to come down to the last kick of the game virtually, and it was City against United. It'll never happen. Never happen.
I came downstairs because the computer was in the room now. I came downstairs on the computer thinking, oh, we've lost. And then it said 3-2. And I was like, huh?
I just popped my head around the door with all the shouting, thinking, this is United celebrating. And it was like blue shirts on the TV and they're running around.
Yeah.
Going crazy, and I thought, what's going on? It was like confusing. Just didn't expect it. Crazy. That was obviously Scott be the favourite game.
I guess if you're talking about maybe a favourite moment when you're younger, you could talk about the Denis Law back heel.
Yeah.
Or is that it's not really that good because it wasn't for the title or anything?
It sent United down, but when they spoke to Denis Law afterwards, he said he didn't want to score.
Yeah.
He just backheeled it to give it to the keeper.
Yeah.
The keeper didn't expect it, and it rolled in, and that sent United down that year. And it was obviously Denis Law was a Man United legend, so for him to do that against
City,
what's going on there? Yeah. I mean, I've never been one to be, every club's got these type of fans that, really give it out and what have you.
Yeah.
When, one team has a bit of bad luck or, they lose or whatever, and they start giving it out. There's banter, and then when it gets a bit more than that, it just spoils it all, really.
Well, it's that same way. It's never as bad as it seems. It's never as good as it seems, sort of thing.
Yeah. I appreciate good football from wherever it comes. So obviously, I'd like it to be City, and De Bruyne certainly supplies the fantastic football. And I mean, I think a couple of years ago, City has been the most sublime football I've ever seen in the Premier League. The way they were just passing, and it was absolutely pinpoint, beautiful football. It was silky as you want. And they were just running away with every game. Every game was like 4-0, 5-0, and it was Just like, this is another class altogether. But if there's any team can play like that, it's lovely to watch, whichever team it is. So I always appreciated Arsenal when Wenger was there early 2000s, and they were very, very good.
One of the best.
Yeah. I guess it's difficult for us now because back then we had company. It's just we had company to give us that solid base.
Yeah.
So it allowed us to do all that stuff, and we still do, but we don't have the solid base, so it just doesn't.
Yeah. I was going to ask you guys about how you thought last season went without company.
It was awful, wasn't it? Our defence. So
it speaks for itself, doesn't it? I mean, we losing 9 games because the defence just wasn't organised.
No.
So you had players that were doing the best, but there was no cohesion there. So nobody was organising them to say, right, you set up like this, you go, you stay back, So they're all doing their own thing, and it was leaving gaps all over the place. And teams knew about that straight away. They were like, oh, right, City, we'll just soak them up for a bit, and then as soon as we get a chance, we'll ping it over there. There's going to be gaps at the back, and there always was. So it only takes 1 or 2, quick balls up to the front for the opposition, and we're struggling like mad.
Like Pulisic, chase against Mendy.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's just like we dominate teams.
Yeah.
Don't finish the chances. As soon as they get 1 or 2, So, yeah. So.
Well, we've been to a lot of City games now where the frustration level is unbelievable because City have got the quality. They get it up to the edge of the area and they're passing it back and forward from left wing to right wing across the top of the area and back again because they can't find a way through because it's like an 11-man defence. And then suddenly they lose the ball. It's a quick attack, and we're struggling. A lot of teams have done that. We haven't found a way to deal with it.
Well, yeah, because we had company that enabled us to cope with it better.
Yeah.
But now we don't. It's just we can't cope with it.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
We haven't got the quality. I mean, there was a couple of players that just hadn't got the pace. So anybody with a little bit of pace on the opposition, they were round the back straight away.
Yeah. And
so you guys just think Koulibaly will be the solution?
Oh, definitely.
I hope so.
2 different answers.
I don't know enough about him, you see, but Ben's done his homework and he reckons he's worth 85 million.
Well, not 85, but 35, I think, get 3 or 4 seasons out of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's I think because it was the last match we went to was City v United, second leg of the League Cup. We lost 1-0.
Yeah.
But it was the same again. We absolutely dominated them.
Yeah, we did.
Didn't finish the chances. They get 1 chance to score.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically my saying on this, it was a story of our season.
It was. It really was.
Sorry, next time we get a merch, we're putting that on it.
The story of our season.
He says it every podcast. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, carry on. Have you got another question?
Apart from Koulibaly, is there a player in the world, apart from Lionel Messi as well, who you think would help you secure first this season?
Any centre-back that's decent. just a centre-back.
Centre-back?
Yeah, Dad, what do you think?
Yeah, centre-back. And for some reason, when Aguero is not If he's injured, and he tends to pick up injuries, at least 1 or 2 a season, so we miss him for probably 10 or 12 games a season, and those games we really struggle to get any penetration in attack. So, like I said before, when they get it up to the edge of the area and they're passing it back and forward, Aguero's the one that makes the run. Nobody else does it.
No. And so you think Jesus isn't enough then?
No, he doesn't do it. We need somebody who's got a little bit more about just making that quick darting run, diagonal run or whatever it is. So it would have been Silva at the time to dink it.
It's not that Jesus is a bad player. He's not Aguero.
No.
Aguero scores 1 or 2 chances, goal. With Jesus, it's got to be 4 or 5 chances.
Yeah, it's just the difference.
He's not as ruthless.
So I don't know if there's a striker in the sort of Aguero mould that can do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're hoping that Werner could be our Aguero for the future. Because, I mean, the numbers are high with Werner, but, I mean, Aguero is kind of almost on his own section in the Premier League, to be honest, in terms of thinking like great strikers. Because you had Henry, who was just technical masterclass. You had Shearer, who was just a beast. Then you have people like who else do we have down in these things? Rooney. He just had the best right boot of probably any player in the Premier League at one point. It's just a different player, isn't he? And I guess it's also because he's not European, maybe, that he doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah,
maybe, yeah.
But he is by far one of the best strikers the Premier League.
Highest non-EU player?
Yeah.
Goal scorer, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
So, I mean, that speaks for itself. And the injuries he gets as well, it's...
Yeah, I mean, you even touched on it. He gets injured once or twice a season and still racks up the numbers.
Yeah.
Which, fingers crossed for the season for you guys. And I guess probably not for me. I probably haven't got my fingers crossed. But he's not injured this season because I think it would basically secure your title.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get injured all season.
Well, even without a centre-back?
Centre-back. I'm saying centre-back if Aguero does get injured like once or twice this season.
Okay, yeah.
But if Aguero is fully fit, you've got Ake, you've got Laporte. If Aguero is banging in 2 goals a game like he normally does when he plays.
Yeah. Oh, here's a fact. Me and my dad went to the first ever Champions League game.
What, City Champions League game?
Yeah, to City v Napoli. We drew 1-1. It was an alright game.
All right.
Yeah, we just went because it was the first Champions League game.
Yeah, that must have been good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I mean, City fans don't like UEFA, so it always gets booed, the Champions League anthem now, which I mean, I do understand it, to be fair. But,
a little bit less than you guys. You guys have more of a City in general have a lot more of a disdain towards UEFA and vice versa as well.
I mean, they're already booing it because of the fine they got in 2014, but when the fans are back now, they'll be booing it even more because of that ban, and then it got.
You didn't even get a ban.
Basically, I know, but like they're still going to be fuming about it because
we got the ban. You didn't get the ban. We did.
Because they're still going to be fuming about it because it like they still said we were banned in the end.
No, the fact that you got nothing from 2 years down to no ban.
You got a fine.
We've had this conversation before.
But it's a strange one. The reason why we still got fined is because we didn't cooperate enough, apparently. But they didn't find anything wrong, or some of it was time barred. But we didn't we didn't block it, but we didn't cooperate properly. So they were like, well, you weren't cooperating, so there's the fine.
I see.
For not acting in good faith, I guess, and cooperating with the.
Oh.
Oh.
He's
Right.
back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got another question?
I don't. Have you?
No.
Right. Is there, Stuart? Is there anything? Well, yeah. I've got a little question. Is there anything that you can think of that is something that maybe fans who aren't City fans will maybe not know about? Anything history-wise that quite a fun fact maybe that you can think of?
Oh, no. I think just off the top of my head. Ding.
I've got one.
Go on.
Well, actually, I might have said this to you before. I'll say it anyway. So, for City, their classic sort of kit, home kit, away kit, whatever, is obviously blue home kit, and then the classic is either the maroon or a black and red stripe.
Mm-hmm.
And the black and red stripe comes from, is it Malcolm Allison?
Mm.
He believed, because AC Milan were a successful team at the time, that if we wore the same colours as AC Milan, we would win. And we did actually win, but that's why it's one of our historical away kits now.
Oh, because you wore a replica kit in a cup game recently, didn't you? Well, a couple of years ago.
I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember that. Because I know we wore a replica of our cup.
Yeah,
That kit this season, which was gold and blue.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
that was a nice kit, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think you guys did something similar once.
Yeah, I thought for Community Shield, not this year, last year.
Yeah, it might have been.
We wore like that blue plain one.
Maybe.
Yeah, that red and black away kit comes from Malcolm Allison believing that we would win with AC Milan's kit, and we did win.
So, might have worked.
What's going on with that United Zebra thing?
Oh, that's a whole new video. That.
Where's that come from?
I mean, our third kit and Chelsea's third kit is awful as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think City have the best one out of the bunch, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably.
I'd say your third kit's much nicer than ours.
Mm.
I mean, Crystal Palace think it's their kit, basically. Because it basically is.
I mean, United's kit doesn't look as bad with the black shorts and socks.
But aren't they selling it with the stripy shorts?
Yeah, they're selling it with stripy shorts and socks. It's a bit weird.
It's very odd, yeah. I don't know. I don't get how, with kits, right, they must realise that keeping it classic, keeping it original, going down these weird, looking like kits of other clubs, looking like prison jumpsuits and stuff like that isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the third kit is always the one where they're like, yeah, sack it, we'll do that.
Crazy, yeah.
They get to be creative with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you must, like, there's some third kits which are really nice. I thought our third kit last season with the black one with the orange collar was really nice, but clearly can't do it multiple years in a row.
Yeah. I mean, our home kit is okay, but our away kit is really nice this season. It's that black one. Kieran's got it.
Yeah, the black one. Yeah.
Chelsea's home and away kit, fine.
My mum did say, put on the chat yesterday, it looks like the Chelsea players wearing pyjamas in their away kit.
Did she not like the away kit then?
It looks like they're wearing pyjamas.
The home kit's all right though.
Yeah, the home kit's nice. I like the black trim.
Yeah, it's been rinsed for having 3 on it, like with 3-2 and all that.
I know, but I think,
it's still a nice kit. It's
a nice kit, and sometimes it's better than having like Emirates or Yokohama Tire, like a massive word plastered across your chest. I mean, they could have made the 3 a lot smaller, but at the same time, it's just easy. It's less in your face, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Liverpool home kit this season with the green. I know they've done it before.
I don't mind it personally. I mean, I don't know what you think, Stuart.
Oh, I'm back.
He's back.
But yeah, like
I used to really like slightly different kits.
mm,
When I was Ben's, well, no, younger than that. When I was at school, I used to try and get an unusual kit rather than just going for a City kit or whatever. So I remember buying a Crystal Palace kit, which was, I don't know if I've used it recently. It was a white shirt with a diagonal red and blue.
yeah, they had that as the away kit recently.
Was it? I bought that when I was about 12 or something like that from Hyde Sports Centre.
We're like, yeah, this should be cool.
Yeah. In fact, I mean, this is bad. I remember buying a United kit because it was really nice.
Yeah, I don't think you catch me and Ben wearing shirts of other teams.
Yeah, but like I remember reading, maybe not when my dad was young, but maybe just before then, that sort of extreme rivalry between City and United wasn't really a thing because the people who went to the games were the workers.
Yeah.
Who just went to the games to see the match, just have a good time, to have a break. So the workers would just go to watch either team. It was only after sort of the workers went to different places and started just to go in one team because it was and getting more expensive and all that sort of stuff that the rivalry became a thing. And obviously they moved further apart in the stadiums. So that's I guess that's your excuse.
I just like the kit.
Yeah.
It was white and it had some kind of stripe, just a stripe going down one side. I can't remember what it was.
I mean, City's. A classic third kit of City's is the white with the red and black sash.
Yeah. Well, it was very similar to that, the Crystal Palace one.
Yeah.
It was obviously red and blue, the sash.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know.
An Ajax kit, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was Ajax, but I loved the kit because at Hyde Sports Centre they used to have all the kits up on the wall on the back, and I thought that kit's brilliant. I'm having it. It was Ajax with the big red thing down the centre.
Didn't you have a Napoli one at one point?
I had a Napoli one, yeah.
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 But like with that Liverpool one, I just if that kit, if it was just a white colour, it would look so smart. But with that, I know they've done the green in the past, previously, but it's not for me.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I mean, for me, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't really take away from the fact that it is a nice kit.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not bad, but
yeah,
it's so much better if it's just white.
Oh no, I understand your point fully. What about England's kit? I thought that was quite nice, both away and home.
I don't like the badge being in the middle in kits.
I
don't like badges being in the middle. Can't stand it.
I like it. It looks classic. It looks old school.
If it was like the normal badge and stuff, fantastic. Classic, yeah, whatever. But I just, it's an alright kit, but it would be so much better if the badge wasn't in the middle for me.
This is where I'm going to completely disagree with you.
I don't like badges in the middle. What about you, Dad?
It's not bothered at all.
I like it. My dad's like, yeah, it's a kit.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. But the away kit's alright.
Yeah.
Changed it up, haven't they? They've done a blue one instead of red.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Except the team's rubbish.
Oh, those games were awful.
That game was so
I'm just
boring.
looking at the team sheet, and it's just poor, isn't it? Is that the best we can do?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously experimenting because the Nations League, and we've spoken about this, the Nations League is a competition, but it's basically a friendly. It's replacing friendlies, so he's like testing stuff out and stuff, but like everyone's like, yeah, we can get to something, we can win it. But it's like, compare that team to the strongest France team or the strongest
I just think they should be. I mean, are you saying that they're just using it as a bit of a, let's find out what sort of players we've got, and they're not really bothered about the competition?
I mean, well, I think Ben thinks so. Certainly, I
Yeah.
I hope so, because I mean, I'd like to think certain players should have been playing if they're at their best playing. Maybe he'll change it later on. He's seen people play in the Premier League. It seemed like it was kind of rewarding, like Calvin Phillips and Ward-Prowse for having a good season,
Get a cohesive
and putting the
team.
better player in the team.
Mm.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But I think
playing that as a proper full international and going all out to win it, picking the best team.
Yeah, it's what you were saying, Tom.
Start putting a few players on just to give them a bit of experience.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
you're saying, Tom. It's still a competition, which I completely understand. But for me, I would be like, we should go out and try and win this. But I think he's treating it as friendlies in that. But
it's a bit odd for me that they should be trying to win that. And for me, it starts to question. It's probably too early, but I think Southgate's time as England manager might be shorter than we think if he carries on doing that.
He's an all right manager, but it's not like you don't look at him and think there's a Euros coming here, there's a World Cup. It doesn't. Like obviously,
you're more excited about the players.
Yeah.
Possibly being able to carry the team more than the manager sorting it out, maybe.
Because he suits the setup for Southgate, because he understands the way the FA work and stuff, which is the same with like Solskjaer at United, but that doesn't mean that they're a good manager. That's what some United fans have been saying to us.
They are what they were worried about this season.
Yeah.
Because he's done all right, but this season will show if he's a good enough manager.
It's the same with Southgate. The last World Cup we did fantastic, but there was that factor of they were like, we're going to try and win this last game against Belgium in the group stage, but like really on the slide they were like, we want to lose this so we get an easier draw. And that's so we got. Because we got an easier draw, we got to the semis, and I guess you have to be clever like that in tournaments and stuff. But
definitely,
I think that was sort of a false sort of thing that we got to the semis. I don't know.
Well, we'll see how this Nations League goes, and obviously we'll see how the Euros goes next season. And I'm sure we'll probably talk about it on the podcast.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe should be England manager because he did Bournemouth.
The Bournemouth manager, ex-Bournemouth manager.
Yeah, well, he played.
He's unbelievable. How the hell can he keep Bournemouth in a Premiership for how long? Was it 5 seasons?
5 seasons, yeah.
He done a phenomenal job, and I reckon he could do with England with the sort of players. He could get so much out of them.
Oh, definitely. I'm interested to see how he does if he goes to a bigger club with bigger players.
Has he gone? Well, he's not done anything yet.
No.
I think so.
When it goes south for Mourinho, will be in at Tottenham.
I reckon United might be interested.
Well, yeah, this season's kind of a make or break season for a lot of managers and teams.
Pochettino's there as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
I tell you, who's making a sort of resurgence internationally? Italy.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you know who's managing them now, Dad?
Mancini.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Doing well with them.
Yeah.
That'll be handy at a tournament, I think. They're a tournament team. Yeah. They always play. Always up it in the tournaments, in the tournament games. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I think we've had a good show. It's been an honour to have you on, Stuart. Really interesting. A lot about Manchester City back in the day. Obviously, it's nice to have you on as Ben's dad, and as we've had my dad on before, and I'm definitely sure we'll have you on again in the future. And hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, great stuff.
Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next Thursday at 4 p.m. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you are new around here. And we'll see you guys next week at Thursday, 4 p.m.